Good evening, I'm Carson Smith. In the wake of President Trump's executive order, tens of thousands of visas have been revoked.
And I'm Katie Means. My father's threatened to take mine away if I don't stop spending money on Etsy. This is Slant TV. The ongoing story out in San Francisco today, growing concern after a particle transporter incident at Uber headquarters.
3 scientists working in Uber's Advanced Technologies group have now been declared missing after a critical malfunction during a testing exercise. Slant TV senior correspondent Jackson McKeever has the story. Jackson, Uber claims this technology, when completed, will allow users to be instantly teleported to their destinations. Is that true?
That's right, Carson. Uber has been conducting particle transporter research for several years now, with plans to roll out the technology to customers as soon as 2018. The company, known for being able to transport its customers quickly, believes its latest endeavor can push the market in a bold new direction. The program was kept tightly under wraps until this footage from a security camera inside the lab was leaked to the press earlier today. The video shows the transporter machine malfunctioning, transporting the scientists to an unknown location.
Jackson, a lot of people are wondering, does Uber have the legal authorization to be engaging in this kind of dangerous technology?
Law experts are saying there is currently no legal precedent for this kind of situation, but Uber is preparing for litigation after this statement by the attorney representing the missing scientists.
It's important in this country that employees are protected in the workplace, no matter what the discipline, and my clients feel that their safety has not been the main priority at Uber. Or at least, I think they feel that way. I haven't actually seen or heard from them.
And they're not the only ones taking legal action. Amid growing questions of legality, the federal government has stepped in as well, requiring Uber to turn over all material related to the particle transporter. However, Uber officials claim that all of their research on the machine, as well as any emails between company executives discussing the machine, have also mysteriously disappeared. Carson?
Thank you, Jackson. Responding to criticisms about employee safety, Uber CEO Travis Kalanick has assured the press that Uber has an expansive driver network in most major cities all around the world. So the missing scientists, wherever they are, should be able to make it home safely and affordably. Campus dining has seen some outrage over the last few weeks regarding the controversial cup shrinking in multiple campus dining locations. Here with us today is campus dining representative Greg Fields, who serves as the general manager of Rand Dining Hall. Greg, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me on.
Greg, there's been a lot of controversy over the cup shrinkage. Is campus dining considering a return to the old cup size?
Absolutely not. Campus dining is committed to encouraging students to use reusable cups and waste less food, especially those who are dining in. In fact, we just recently rolled out our new silverware line, and it's turning out to be a huge success.
So are you saying there's no fiscal motivation behind the shrinkage?
Not at all. The cups are actually around the same price.
Greg, can you tell us what inspired the change in silverware?
Well, we found out that people were constantly loading up on food that they don't end up eating. With the new silverware, we're making sure that people are only getting the food that they feel that they can eat with the newly improved forks.
There have been reports of black market common silverware making an appearance in Rand. Is campus dining taking any steps to guard against this kind of illicit activity?
Yes. I've recently been made aware of the conspiracy, and we're taking the appropriate measures to adequately discipline those who are responsible for the security breach. Campus dining has partnered with the Office of Student Accountability on this issue, and we expect Rand safety to increase dramatically over the next few weeks.
Thanks, Greg. You heard it here. Campus dining doubling down on cup shrinking. Reports of violence between rivaling gangs fighting for territory in Rand to sell their black market silverware and cups are still unconfirmed. Campus dining has declined to comment on the matter at this time.
While citizens across the world continue to discuss Donald Trump's inauguration, the Supreme Court of the United Kingdom has made its own news this week. The court ruled 8-3 that an act of parliament must be passed in order for the nation to officially Brexit. For more on this, we bring in Slant TV global news correspondent Jackson Tell. Lovely to see you as always, Jackson.
Did you register me for the British military just so you could take my lead anchor job?
Jackson, please, let's stay on topic. So what can you tell me about this new ruling from the British Supreme Court?
Well, it's fascinating, really. I learned that the British Supreme Court has 11 justices instead of 9, which was like a total eye-opener. But this new ruling states that the Prime Minister, which is what they call their president, can't pull the country out of the EU, which I learned is a bunch of nations working together, sort of like our states, but without approval from Parliament, which I found out is the British word for Congress.
That is indeed different than the American system. How have you seen that playing out in everyday life there?
Well, they want to ask me a lot about my thoughts on Brexit and stuff in the Middle East, but I don't really know anything about that. So I've just been asking them about President Trump. A lot of Scottish people have responded to me with in-depth comments on the ramifications of Donald Trump's promise to pull the United States out of NATO.
And what did you tell them?
Well, I said that if by NATO they meant tornadoes, then we definitely have to get out of it. The agricultural industry of the Great Plains is far too valuable for us to be threatened by NATOs. But to be honest with you, I don't really know Trump's exact position on the matter. Alec Baldwin never said anything about it on SNL, and I kind of just assumed people would ask me about Twitter. But there were a number of protests here in Scotland on inauguration. No matter if they're supporters or critics, the Brits I've talked to seem to have pretty strong opinions on President Trump. Have there been any discussions on American college campuses about the ramifications of Brexit?
No. But from what I've seen on the news, I know that Brexit is probably not great for the EU, Britain, or the United States.
Yeah, no, it's not good.
Thank you for your keen global insight and expertise, Jackson.
I'll continue to monitor the situation of American politics from across the pond. Cheerio.
The Trump team is regrouping today after IKEA North America President Mike Ward spoke publicly denouncing the president's choices for his cabinet. Ward had this to say from IKEA's regional headquarters in Pennsylvania earlier today. I'm appalled at the new administration's cabinet selections. Cedar and fir, not only do these choices clash severely with the White House interior style, there's also no chance they'll be able to withstand the wear and tear that comes from being a part of the president's cabinet. Our government has never seen a cabinet with this kind of style. As a concerned citizen, I'd like to see a cabinet with a little more experience in Washington.
The statement only piles on to an already difficult day of confirmation hearings for the cabinet. Senate Democrats grilled the nominee repeatedly, expressing concern over the cabinet's ability to protect American interests given its relationship with Russian President Vladimir Putin. Republican Senator Ted Cruz referred to the nominee as a dear friend and said the cabinet has served magnificently over the last 20 years.
Amid the criticisms, Special Advisor Kellyanne Conway gave this response on behalf of the Trump team. Donald Trump is a very impressive businessman who has built his massive company on real estate, much of which includes cabinets. He is an expert in choosing cabinets and is convinced in his nominee's ability to serve. Confirmation hearings resume later this week, where the nominee is expected to receive questions regarding the future for the Department of Interior Design. For Slant TV, I'm Katie Means, and these studio lights are way too bright for my hangover.
And I'm Carson Smith, or as my elementary school bullies would call me, Mr. Potato Head. Thank you and have a good night.